This is the Local Service Business Podcast brought to you by Launch27, the online booking form and service management tool that powers thousands of local service businesses around the world. Every week, we bring you a new episode with a different Launch27 user to discuss wins, challenges, and to impart wisdom from our journey in business to our listeners. We're glad you're here to join us. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining in on the Launch27 podcast. This is episode 5, and today we have a special guest, and I'll let him go ahead and introduce himself.
Hey, Dara. Thanks for having me here. My name is Huy. I'm 25 years old from Sydney, Australia. I have a Vietnamese background, and this is my 2.5 year running Simply Made.
Okay, cool. So give me your background and tell me, you're very young, which is really cool. I love that. I had my first business at 21, I believe. So is this your first business? Tell me, give me your background.
I've actually ran a couple of other side businesses while I was young. None that did so well. Mostly drop shipping and eBay and, stuff similar to that. I've actually entered the workforce at a fairly young age. I was really into computers. Got a job in IT right after college. Bouncing between my drop shipping business, and also, working a full-time job doing desktop and server support. After about 4 years, I learned about Launch27 and decided to start my own house cleaning business.
Okay, very cool. How did you come across Launch27?
I read a post actually.
Okay.
Like most others. I came across a Reddit post, and it was 2 a.m. in the morning, and I was reading it, and then it got me excited, and the next day I got started on it.
Oh wow, so you jumped right in then.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
That's very cool. All right, so tell us, so you're in a group. I guess I wouldn't even say that our group is primarily Americans, but we skew heavily, North America, doing the business there. So tell me what you see the differences are between, doing it in North America and things you've had to adapt and change in Australia.
To be honest, there's not really that much of a difference.
Okay, cool.
Two primary differences that I noticed are the IC laws between America and Australia. See, so I hear from America, right? Having IC, you have to have clear distinctions on what's available, what's not allowed. You can't give them checklists. You can't give them guidelines. No uniform, and you have to clearly state that there are an IC. There's multiple different startups that's gone under just because of this law. Here in Australia, it's the law's still there. It's just more lax. We still have to state that the IC are liable for their own businesses. But we're allowed to give them guidelines. So, for example, for my business, I can give them a uniform. They're wearing my T-shirts. I have a guideline pack. Tell them what they can do, what they shouldn't do, when to contact the customer, how to get the 5-star rating during the clean, make the customer happy. What makes a customer not happy. And stuff like that, or I can provide them documents, which is main difference between Australia and America.
Okay, very.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, I was going to say very cool, because I'm sorry to interject, but I know that something that you're very, very good at is providing those documents. And I actually didn't realize that you used ICs, because I know that you have, I realized that you had their, they wear your uniforms and you have those systems in place. So I assumed that you had employees, but tell us more about like the systems and how you've gotten your ICs to kind of follow them.
Yeah. So look, a lot of people think I'm great at systems. To be honest, I'm not. I learn from everyone else. So, I learned from you. I learned from Chris, Rob, Della, a bunch of other Launch27 users. and at the end of the day, it all comes to documentation, and just enforcing the guidelines that that's provided by the ICs, right? And the IC and the relationship between us and IC is it's win-win situation, right? They continue doing work for us, we continue sending them work. They get to grow their business, I get to grow my business. And if they're not following the guidelines, I have penalties involved, which impacts their pay as well. So there's penalties involved, and there's also rewards that I give them for following the guidelines as well. So I think at the end of the day, it works pretty well.
So what's an example of, just a general example of a reward and a general example of a penalty?
Okay, cool. A penalty. So we work on an 1 hour's arrival window, right? One thing I came across early in the game is lots of the ICs were showing up late, right? They weren't notifying the customers, and we'd get calls from the customers saying, where are the cleaners, right? And that was a big problem for us. So the ICs were showing up late, but they weren't notifying the cleaners. What we've done was we've introduced a penalty. So for every customer that calls up telling us that we don't know where the cleaners are, we dock them $20 off their pay for that job.
Okay, nice. Wow.
Yeah. So like it may sound harsh, but it takes 2 seconds to send a text message to the customer saying, look, I'm going to be 10 minutes late. I'm going to be 30 minutes late, right? And as long as the customer knows where they are and if they're actually coming, then the customer can plan through the day, right? And the penalties there just enforce that to happen, and
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I think that it's good because it's accountability on their
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So
like you'll be penalized with the customer not being happy, so why not make them accountable as well? So I love it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so like it makes sense. It works for me, and it forces the ICs to keep their head in the game.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. So what about rewards? What type of rewards do you have?
Yeah, so Launch27, right? They have this rating system, and from the rating system, there's also the 1 to 5 star that you can view on the people's page. We have different stacks of pay rates for different different ratings of different cleaners, essentially. So in our system, in our documentation, any cleaners of 4 stars will earn 55% of pay rate, and anyone who maintains a 4.5 star or above will earn 60 to 65%. And anyone who drops under 4%, sorry, not, why am I saying percent? Sorry, stars.
I get it.
So, yeah, sorry. So anyone who drops under 4 stars, we cut their contracts. We stop sending work because their quality is just not up to standard. Anyone who maintains a 4 star, we'll keep them on board, but they get for 55%, and they can work towards around the 60 to 65% depending on their star rating moving forward.
That's really cool. I like that a lot. I'm actually thinking if I should implement that in my business because I love that. I mean, we tried something similar, but we were doing hourly and it just didn't translate. But I like it with percentages. Now I've actually moved to percentages and it's been a lot easier. And I can make it work.
Well, I was actually I was wondering how that worked with employee rates because I thought employees needed an hourly rate, right? So I was actually surprised to hear some people in the States were using a commission rate with employees. So I didn't know how that worked either. I was a bit confused.
For us, it's as long as they are above minimum wage, you can pay them whatever. So it can't drop below whatever the minimum wage is in your state. And the minimum wage in our state is very, very, very low. So I believe it's like $7.25. So it's pretty hard to drop below that. So, give them a percentage as long as they as long as the hourly rate equals above $7.25.
Yeah. That's actually another difference that I've noticed between the States and America. Our minimum wage differs like immensely. Over here, a living wage would be somewhere around $20 an hour.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, exactly. My local VA that I pay, I pay her $25 an hour, and that's an average pay for an admin staff in our area as well.
So do you end up, is your flat rate or your hourly rate much higher than ours?
No, I've basically mimicked the pricing model of you guys. So $45 an hour, and I've also rated my my flat rate to at least get $45 an hour.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. Does that affect your profit margin, would you say, or you're still pretty?
It works. So I still pay the cleaners 55 to 60%. But they work more efficiently and they work faster. And it still works. But I think the sweet spot would be around 65% pay rate. For star cleaners,
and that's when you
at that point of time. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So once they get to 65%, then their pay is great, and they're great cleaners. They stick around, and yeah, that's what I get them to work towards essentially.
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah. So what's been your biggest struggle in the business thus far?
Well, I have two biggest struggles. Initially, it was quality control and complaints, which is probably the same thing. So the first thing we had to fix was when we first started our business, we had contractors who didn't really do a good job, right? I didn't really do a good job with the background check and the onboarding. Customers were complaining about missed spots, and and stuff like that. So what I did was I fired them, and we replaced them, and I made sure my clean onboarding was done more thoroughly, essentially. Beforehand, I wasn't meeting them face to face. It was just a phone interview. Afterwards, I met every cleaner face to face. I made sure to send them to my house, and I let my mum quality check them. And she's yeah, that's right. She's extremely detailed when it comes to house cleaning. And if they can pass my mom's test, then they can pass any customer's test.
That's very cool. That's funny because I did the same thing. I would send them either to my mom's house or to like a house where my mom could kind of visit afterwards.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, see, look, if they pass the mom test, then they're great cleaners.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
So once you started, because I had the same issue. I think everybody really has the same issue with the quality control.
Yeah, quality.
Once you started, kind of doing that process, how have you seen like things turn around?
Initially, the Launch27 rating review email. We were getting lots of those. It was bad ratings, right? And it was pretty stressful. After we replaced the cleaners, and I made sure each cleaner was thoroughly vetted and also passed the mum test. Things started turning around actually. Like I started getting raving reviews, and from there I started getting excited. I was like, wow, as long as you do your due diligence when onboarding cleaners, it makes a huge difference when to your business. Customers started sticking around. We started getting good reviews, and people were emailing and calling us saying, "Hey, look, you guys are doing an amazing job," and that kept me going.
Yeah, it's funny. That's the same thing that happened with me. It was just it gets you down when you're getting these bad reviews, and when you can't keep clients sticking around, and like that first time, you start to see like the break, and you start to see, you know, people liking it. And especially when you get more recurring customers, it just feels so amazing.
Yeah, it does. That I think that's the most rewarding part of this business. You know, numbers are just numbers at the end of the day, but when you see customers calling you and you see actual comments from, you know, people, and you can tell that you're making a difference in people's lives, that's really rewarding to me.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's like when you know that you're actually doing something, you know, and
Yeah,
it's
that's right.
when it's
Yeah,
not
that's right.
cleaning the house, all of a sudden you're doing something and making people happy. It feels really cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. Initially, it started off as, you know, hey, look, I can make money from this, and now it's changed to something like, oh, look, I'm providing all these IC jobs. I'm providing these VA jobs. I'm helping people save their time. And people are happy, and yeah, it's evolved to something that's more of like a lifestyle to me now.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
So what are your goals for this year, both in revenue? Because I know you said that, and we've had discussions offline, online, and you know, through Messenger. I
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
at one
Yeah.
point you were kind of stagnant, and then you kind of kicked it in gear to get back into the growth mode. Where are you with that, and how's that been going?
So, you know, I was actually stuck at the 20K to 30K monthly revenue mark for a very, very long time. I focused all of my effort into so I by that time I already had my VA in place, and you know, she was taking care of my daily operations. So I focused all my effort into my marketing system, essentially. I went through my website. I had a look at examples from startups. I mimicked their style of conversions, essentially. I made changes to my website to ensure that every single lead was accounted for and taken care of. So first thing I did was I've changed my homepage from the slider model to showing price up front to a web form, essentially, requiring them to enter the information to view a price. Um, and I think this is very important because it also filters out the customers or the visitors who weren't really that interested in the first place, right?
Yeah.
If a visitor was interested in the cleaning, they'd put in the information. So yeah, I had this web form on my website, and I had it sent to Infusionsoft with my email drip program. And you know, within 15 minutes later, they received an email with full pricing details. And on the website, and they were forwarded to my booking form with everything pre-filled. Another thing I've done was that all that information that was sent to the email drip was also sent to a to-do list for my VA to call up and follow up and help them if they had any questions, and you know, get them to try close the lead on the phone as well. So you know, it's what we've done was we've tried to make the most, you know, out of every single lead that came through our website.
I love that, because I'm actually thinking about changing mine up a little bit to kind of reflect that. So
Yeah,
it's good information that's worked successfully for you.
yeah. Well, you know, things started exploding afterwards. You know, we've gone from 20 to $30,000 in monthly revenue about 3 or 4 months ago. Now we're about at 80,000. We've just hit $80,000 in monthly revenue.
Oh my goodness!
It's amazing. Yeah, wow. It's amazing. No, it's actually gone to the point where I don't, my VAs don't call up the leads anymore because they just convert automatically. The email drip program works so well.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah,
And
yeah.
what was I about to ask you? Do you? I can't. I can't remember what I was about to ask.
That's all right.
There's something about the VAs. I'll try to think about it. I'll try to come back to it.
Yes.
So that jump between 30 and or 20 and 30 to about 80K in a couple months, you know, in a couple months, how have you kind of handled that? Because that's a big jump with, you know, you got to hire more ICs and all of that.
It was tough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still struggling right now. So, you know, this past week I've been still trying to hire more ICs. So you know, like it's what we've done was, usually Fridays were the most busy days. We try to book in the customers into the less busy days, essentially. But we're currently running at full capacity, and we've been at full capacity for about 2 or 3 months now. So yeah, just trying to find more ICs, which is extremely difficult, especially when you're trying to find ones that do a great job. And I think that's the hardest part of the business.
That was I remember the question I was going to ask you. So how are you driving traffic to your website?
SEO. SEO is our main source of traffic. We're actually ranking top 3 for almost all of our target keywords, and they're super competitive. Initially we were just ranking for Sydney, Australia, which is 4 million in population. We've recently also expanded to Brisbane and Melbourne. And Brisbane is 2 mil population and Brisbane is 4 mil population. And we're ranking top 3 for all 3 cities, which is super awesome.
Did you do your SEO yourself or did you hire someone?
No. So my friend Daniel Law from Big Vision Marketing, he's actually helped me a lot with my SEO. Okay. So initially when I started my business, he was a really close friend of mine, and he was a SEO superstar essentially. He helped me with my strategy for my SEO. He got me started. He taught me everything I've need to know about SEO, and now I'm managing it myself.
Oh, nice. That's something I made a mistake on. I did not focus on that starting out. So that's one of the goals for this year, is really getting that down. And we're doing a design right now. So that's going to be priority number 1.
And a thing to keep in mind is it is a different market, because something I've noticed was from, I think, the States, you guys like to use Yelp and Thumbtack a lot. Over here, I don't think we get much leads from from those local review sites. I've tried, and all the leads were really low quality, and most of the customers like to complain. I put a heavy focus on SEO, and to start off, we use PPC to keep the business going, and that's how I got started.
Yeah, I feel like it's similar for us, whereas we do have a better present. Like, we do get a lot of leads from Yelp and Thumbtack. Yelp tends to be decent. Thumbtack, it's hit or miss with the quality, but I do think that SEO brings in the best quality leads, because they're searching, they're not doing as much sharing. With Thumbtack you get like 20 bids, and they can just choose the lowest price and things like that. So I definitely agree with you in the value of what SEO can do. And plus, you're not like with Thumbtack and Yelp, you're paying for that. So
yeah, that's right. So with Thumbtack and Yelp, you always have to be competitive, right? You're competitive with every other business, and at the end of the day, most customers are price haggling when they're on their sites, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And when you're on SEO, they're not looking for price. They're looking for branding, and they're looking for social proof, and they're looking for sites that that can sell to them essentially. And my SEO has gone to a point where I just do maybe 1 or 2 hours a week of maintenance, and it brings me in unlimited work essentially.
Yeah.
So SEO has been doing amazing for me, and I think Della, which is also in Sydney, he relies on SEO immensely as well. So yeah.
Yeah, that's probably my biggest mistake in the business thus far, is not making.
You're doing pretty well, aren't you? You're doing pretty well yourself, aren't you? Even without SEO.
Yeah. I'm doing okay. Charlotte's not as big of a market, so it's good because it's not as competitive. It's bad because it's not. There's not super. I don't know. It's a weird market. But I'm doing well for the market, I think, and also just for our goals. We're doing well, but I do wish I had focused more on SEO in the beginning, and I think it's going to be.
I think SEO is very important for long-term growth.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So what are your goals for this year?
My goals for this year, it might sound crazy, but we've just hit 80K, and that's just with Sydney itself. Melbourne and Brisbane is, gaining a lot of traction, and we've just started this week. So I'm really hoping to crack 160K in monthly revenue by end of the year. It sounds crazy, but I'm sure I can make it happen.
No, this sounds amazing. So, so that means you'll be a $2 million a year business about at that point?
Yeah, or, if I can make it happen.
You can make it.
Which, I'm sure it'll work out. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. So where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you want to keep the business? Do you want to sell it? What are your thoughts?
Honestly, 5 years is a very long time away. So it's hard to imagine what happens down the track. The business could, really explode and become something, corporate, who knows? Or I might sell it one day. I can't picture myself in 5 years. Right now I'm just setting yearly goals and working towards becoming a better version of myself than I was yesterday. And that's right now.
And speaking of that, is it just you by yourself?
It's me, myself, and my VA, which she's a superstar.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, she's a superstar. I wouldn't be here if she wasn't here helping with the operations. So yeah.
All right, so I guess we're gonna end off the podcast, but I always ask all of the guests these questions. So can I have one tip for someone just starting?
One tip for someone to start. Okay.
It's just starting their local business.
Yeah. This is one issue I had early in the game, right? And I've been speaking to a couple of others who's also run into the same issue. Everyone's overthinking everything, right? Initially, I was overthinking every aspect of my business, right? Everything from brand name or how my signature looked, and all this stuff. At the end of the day, it didn't really matter, right? And I wanted to perfect everything, and I thought of every scenario possible. And at the end of the day, this hindered my progress and really stopped me from taking action. So one tip for newcomers is keep things simple. Just don't get caught up on the details. Head straight in, and if you make a mistake, just revise and try again. And there was this quote that I read online, and it goes, "Ready, fire, aim." And I think that's the best way to do things when you're first starting out.
I love that. Yeah, we agree completely. Obviously, we have the Overthink Academy right now, and that's a lot of the stuff we talk about. Is going and not overthinking and figuring it out as you go, because regardless of whether you overthink it or you don't think it through enough, you're still going to face challenges that you never would have thought of. You need to just go and kind of get that experience.
I actually love what you guys are doing with everything, and you guys are providing a wide amount of services for everything. Like I think it's so easy for someone to enter the market right now just because you guys are around. Launch27 and Overthink. There's no reason not to start a business with all this help around. So it's awesome. Yeah, no, it's an awesome time to enter the market, I reckon.
So can I have one tip for a person who's trying to do like you and go from that 20 to 30,000 a month to 80 or whatever the number is for them, that they're just really trying to scale?
Yeah. So, if you're working by yourself and you're starting a business by yourself, I think the biggest issue they have to go through is they're trying to do everything themselves, right? At the end of the day, you can't do everything yourself. So hire yourself some help or a VA and delegate all your daily operations as soon as you get the budget for it. So, create procedures, create policies, and be on the proactive side instead of reacting to everything. I used to, run my business just pulling out fires by fires, and that just took time away from growing the business instead of, working on it and growing the business itself. So, find out one or two tasks you want to delegate, have written procedures, delegate, rinse and repeat.
Perfect. And then we didn't discuss this, which I usually discuss this with the guests, but Well, I'll ask you, have you ever wanted to give up, or has it been a fairly focused and not necessarily smooth, but fairly like eye on the prize road for you?
No, so look, I had days where I felt like I haven't been progressing at all with work, even with all the work I've put in. During initial stages where, all these negative reviews started coming in, no, not negative reviews, sorry, negative feedback, the ratings, when it gets to that point, I also had thoughts where like, why am I doing this, and, I still have these days, but what I do is I picture myself years down the track, and I'd imagine what life would be like if I've given it up. And, I know myself well enough to know that I'd regret that decision.
Yeah.
And that keeps me going, essentially.
I love it. Well, I really
Yeah.
appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. This has been one of I'd probably say one of my favorites, because like I said, we've been talking on Facebook Messenger, and seeing, where you've come from and where you're
Yeah.
at now is incredible. So I really appreciate you sharing that with us.
Yeah, no, thank you for being having me here, Dara. I also really appreciate your work as well. You, Rohan, and Kevin Piera, you guys are doing amazing work. You also did an amazing job with that video shoot. It turned out so well as well, and I honestly wouldn't be here if it went for Rohan and you guys.
Thank you.
So yeah, you guys should appreciate yourself more often. And again, thank you for having me here.
We have a lot of fun, so we are glad you guys are making money and having fun as well. So
I can tell. I can tell. You guys are just going straight at it, every industry straight in. Yeah, tackle it. There's another industry. All right, let's do that. We'll take that one as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And if anybody has any questions, can they reach out to you on Facebook Messenger or anything like that?
Oh yeah, sure. So hit me up on Facebook if you have any questions. If you need any help, or if you have anything to ask at all, or just want to chat, have a chat to me on Facebook. I'm always available. So yeah.
All right. Perfect. Thank you so much. And I'll
Yeah, cool.
and all of that.
Yeah, no, cool, awesome. No, it's been amazing to speak to you, Dara. And again, I really appreciate your work. You're awesome.
All right. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Bye, Dara. Bye now.